On the day of the big family dinner, my daughter told me the best gift would be for me to disappear. So that is exactly what I did. I finished paying off the mortgage on her house. I took everything they considered theirs, and I flew to a warm and faraway place. But what I left on her desk destroyed them forever. Before I continue, please subscribe to the Williams Revenge Stories channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are right now. I reached into my jacket pocket, feeling the edge of the envelope, still believing that this night would end with gratitude. The dining room felt warm, maybe too warm. The fireplace crackled behind me, casting orange light onto the table where my family sat finishing their big Thanksgiving dinner. Through the window, snow fell on our neighborhood in thick, lazy flakes. Inside, the chandelier bathed everything in a soft yellow, making the scene look like something out of a Christmas card. The photo of Sarah watched from the mantelpiece, with her frozen smile from better times. I stood up, pushing my chair back from the table with more effort than I remembered needing. 65 years weighed heavier lately. "Ashley, honey," my voice came out hopeful, too hopeful. "I have something for you. Happy Thanksgiving." The envelope passed from my scarred fingers to her soft hands. She took it without looking up from her phone, tearing the paper with her thumb while Mia picked at her dessert, and Jason cut another slice of turkey. Matt's screen glowed with blue light on his teenage face, reflecting nothing. $5,000. The check was generous, I thought, enough to pay off most of her credit card debt, the one she had mentioned last month in that panicked call at 2 in the morning. Ashley's eyes scanned the numbers. Her expression did not change. Not a smile. Not even surprise. Just nothing. 5,000? The words came out dry, as if I had handed her a grocery receipt. Is that all? My chest tightened. Well, I thought it would help with that credit card situation. You know what, Dad? She looked up then, and her eyes were cold. Colder than the snow outside. Colder than anything I had seen in 42 years of being her father. The best gift would be if you were not here anymore. Time did something strange. The crackling of the fire faded until it became a dull roar in my ears. Jason's knife stopped mid-cut. Mia's fork hung suspended in the air. Matt's thumbs froze on his screen, but Ashley's face remained perfectly still, as if she had just commented on the weather. I tried to speak. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. My hands started to shake, so I grabbed the back of my chair. The leather felt cold and distant under my palms, like everything else felt distant suddenly. The room tilted slightly. Or maybe it was just me. Had I heard her right? What? The word barely managed to leave my lips. You heard me. Ashley left the check on the table, not in her purse, not in her pocket. She just left it there like it was trash. You are always here, always hovering, always controlling everything with your money. We cannot breathe with you around. The fire snapped. A log moved, throwing sparks. Ashley, maybe? Jason started, but his voice died the moment she turned her head. Shut up, Jason. She did not even look at him. Her eyes remained fixed on me. Dad needs to hear this. He needs to understand that we have our own lives, our own plans, and he is always in the way. Grandpa? Mia's little voice barely registered. 15 years of mortgage payments. 15 years of showing up when they called. Fixing what broke. Covering what they could not. The numbers started adding up in my head even as I stood there, watching my daughter explain why the world would be better without me in it. I just wanted to help, I said quietly. The word sounded weak, even to me. Help. Ashley laughed, but there was no humor in it. You wanted to keep us dependent, make sure we would always need you, that we would always have to come crawling back for money. Well, congratulations, Dad. It worked. We are trapped. Jason cut another piece of turkey, eyes fixed on his plate. Mia's face crumpled, but she remained silent. Matt navigated his phone as if nothing was happening. The check lay on the table between the serving platters, $5,000 that nobody wanted. My hands would not stop shaking. I looked around the table. Jason's avoidance, Mia's worry, Matt's indifference, Ashley's cold certainty. Everyone had been thinking this. Maybe not everyone, but enough of them. Long enough for Ashley to say it out loud during the family dinner, with the turkey still hot and the photo of my late wife watching from the other side of the room. What did you just say? My voice came from somewhere far away. About me being gone? I said what I said. Ashley crossed her arms. And you know I am right. When you are gone, finally we will be free. The house will be ours. Our money will be ours. Our lives will be ours. The fire crackled. The snow pressed against the windows. The light from the chandelier felt harsh now, exposing every crack in the facade I had built, every illusion I had maintained about what my family really thought of me. I pulled away from the table slowly, feeling every one of my 65 years in my knees, my back, my chest, where something tight and painful had taken root. I think I need some air. The words came out steady, which surprised me. Everything else was shaking. My hands, my vision, my understanding of who my daughter was, but my voice held. I turned toward the kitchen, away from the table, away from Ashley's cold eyes and Jason's cowardice, and from the check that represented 15 years of my life reduced to nothing. The kitchen door was only a few feet away, but it seemed like miles. Behind me, Ashley said something else, but the words blurred with the crackling of the fire and the beating of my heart. I walked into the kitchen, every step deliberate, leaving my family at the table with their turkey and their truth. The kitchen door closed behind me, muffling the dining room. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, harsh and clinical, after the warm glow of the chandelier. I went straight to the sink, gripping the edge of the counter with both hands. The laminate dug into my palms. Outside the window, snow accumulated on the back fence, every flake adding weight. My reflection stared back from the dark glass, an old man with gray hair and confused eyes. I turned on the cold water, splashed my face. The shock helped, not much, but enough to pull me out of wherever I was drifting. She had said it. My daughter had really said the world would be better with me dead. I splashed more water, letting it drip from my chin into the sink full of bowls and dirty spatulas from the prep work. The smell of turkey mixed with dish soap, sweet and chemical. My hands found a towel. I dried my face mechanically. The door burst open. "Do not walk away from me!" Ashley's voice bounced off the tiled walls. She crossed the small space in 3 strides. She grabbed the sponge from the sink and started attacking the dishes with sharp, furious movements. Plates clattered. Water splashed. The sound was aggressive, deliberate. I turned slowly. "I needed a moment, Ashley. What you said was hurtful. Hurtful." She laughed without humor, scrubbing harder. "You want to talk about pain? Try living in your shadow for 40 years. Try having a father who thinks every dollar spent is a chain around your neck. That is not." I started, but she interrupted me. "I have spent my entire adult life hearing about your sacrifices. The house, the bills, the kids' school supplies, the car repairs, everything you have done for us. Over and over, as if we had asked you. If you asked." My voice came out calm, firm. "Every time you called at 2 in the morning because the heating broke. Every time Jason lost another job and you needed help with the rent. Every time. We needed help because you made sure we would need it." The sponge flew back into the sink with a wet slap. She turned to face me, water dripping from her hands. "You bought the house in your name. You pay the mortgage so you can rub it in our faces. You organized it perfectly, right? Keep us dependent, keep us grateful, keep us trapped." The refrigerator hummed in the sudden silence. Outside, a car passed, its headlights sweeping the snowy yard. "I bought the house because you two could not afford it," I said. "You and Jason were 3 months behind on rent. You had a 6-month-old baby. What was I supposed to do? Let us figure it out ourselves." Her voice rose. "Maybe we would have been fine. Maybe we did not need you to come save us. But you could not stand that, could you? You needed to be the hero. You needed us to owe you." She stepped closer, and I saw something in her face I had never seen before. It was not anger. It was not frustration. Something harder. Something that had been brewing for years while I was too busy paying bills to notice. Her finger tapped my chest. Once. Twice. Every tap punctuated her words. "You wanted us to be dependent." I backed against the counter. "Ashley, that is not true. I wanted to help my daughter raise my grandkids in a safe place. Or you wanted to make sure we could never leave." Another tap. "Make sure we would always be here, under your control, needing you. Because what would you be without us needing you, Dad? Just a lonely old man in an empty house." The words hit harder than her finger. I raised my hands, not in defense, just in surrender. "Is that really what you think?" "After everything, I think." She paused, breathing hard. The anger on her face shifted to something else. Something that looked almost like pain, but harder. I think you need to hear this. Mom would have wanted you to hear it. Do not. My voice came out sharp. Do not bring your mother into this. Why not? She knew. She knew you were like this. Controlling. Always needing to be the center of everything. Always making everything revolve around your sacrifices. Your mother. I stopped. I swallowed hard. Your mother would be ashamed to hear you speak like this. Ashley's face turned red. Do not you dare bring Mom into this. She left because of the stress you caused her, always working. Always absent. Always. That is a lie. My voice remained calm, but something in it made her stop. That is a lie, and you know it. Your mother had a heart condition. The doctors explained it. You were there, a convenient diagnosis. Ashley crossed her arms. A very convenient way to avoid responsibility. The kitchen felt smaller. The fluorescent lights hummed louder. I could hear my heart beat in my ears, feel the edge of the counter digging into my back. Why are you doing this? I asked. What did I do that was so terrible? Loved you, provided for you, tried to give my grandkids the stability that you never. We want to move. The words came out fast, as if she had been holding them back. Jason and I. We want to sell the house and move to another state. Start over. But we cannot because it is in your name. Because you would find a way to stop us. You always do. There it was. The real reason. It was not philosophy. Not feelings or old wounds. They wanted the house. They wanted to cash out the 15 years of my mortgage payments and disappear to a warmer place. I see. The words came out hollow, empty. Really? Do you really see it? Ashley's voice had changed from anger to something almost pleading. We are suffocating here, Dad. Jason cannot find work. I am stuck in a management position at a store. The kids are growing up in your shadow. We need a fresh start, but you will not let us have it. I looked at her, really looked at her. When had my little girl, the one who used to pass me tools in my workshop and call herself my helper, become this stranger? When did help become control in her mind? When did love become manipulation? I will leave you alone now. I pushed off the counter. I moved toward the door that led to the hallway of bedrooms. Yes, that is it. Run away. Her voice followed me. Sharp and cutting. Run away like you always do. You cannot handle the truth. So you hide. Just like with Mom, I stopped in the doorway, but did not turn around. My hand rested on the frame. The house. My house. The one I had invested 15 years in. Suddenly it felt like a cage, but I could no longer tell who was trapped in it. I walked into the hallway, leaving Ashley alone in the kitchen with the dirty dishes and the cold fluorescent light. I closed my bedroom door behind me and sat in the dark for a long time before turning on the lamp. The rocking chair by the window held me as it always did when sleep would not come. Outside. The city wore its winter coat. Snow fell beyond the streetlights. Occasional car lights cut through the darkness. The distant wail of a siren somewhere in the city. My reflection appeared like a ghost in the window glass. An old man alone with his thoughts. Time moved strangely. I watched the clock on the nightstand advance from 10 to 11, and then to midnight. My body craved sleep, but my mind would not stop replaying it all. The kitchen. The dining room. Ashley's cold eyes saying she wanted me out. Out. Dead. Actually, that is what she meant. When you are not here anymore. Not retired in a warm place. Not moved to a smaller place. Dead and buried so she could finally have her house, her freedom, her dream of starting over in another state. Around 1 in the morning I got up. My knees protested. Everything protested these days. I crossed to the bookshelf where I kept the things that mattered. Sarah's books. My old engineering manuals. And underneath everything, the leather-bound photo album. The leather creaked when I opened it, as if remembering every time I had sought comfort in these pages. The first photo showed Sarah in her wedding dress. In 1982, her smile was so bright it seemed to illuminate the faded color. My younger self was beside her. 23 years old and stupidly optimistic about everything that was to come. Next pages. Ashley as a baby, her little fist gripping my finger. Ashley as a child in the park, face full of joy as I pushed her on the swings. Ashley at 5 years old in my workshop, wearing one of my old hard hats that covered her whole head, passing me a wrench with such seriousness. I stopped at a particular photo. Sarah holding Ashley, maybe 3 years old, both laughing at something off camera. Sarah wore a yellow summer dress. That dress. She wore it for everything important. Ashley's kindergarten graduation, school plays, parent-teacher conferences. In the photo, Ashley looked at the camera with pure, uncomplicated love. When did it change? I ran my finger over Sarah's face, careful not to smudge the old print, Sarah's face in that photo. I whispered to the empty room. She was smiling, holding Ashley as a baby. Back then, Ashley looked at me like I was a hero. The question haunted me. When did Daddy become Dad and then a burden? Was it after Sarah died 8 years ago, leaving me alone to navigate Ashley's grief? Was it when she married Jason, when financial problems became the language of our relationship? Or was it gradual? A death by 1,000 small betrayals I was too busy to notice? I closed the album slowly, feeling its weight. My hands caught the lamplight, scarred, calloused, marked by decades of construction work. The burn scar on my right thumb from the incident with the torch in '98. The permanent calluses from gripping tools. The white line on the palm of my left hand where a sheet of metal had cut me deep during a high-rise project. Every mark told a story of provision. Every scar was a payment made. 15 years. 15 years of mortgage payments. I did the math that night, sitting in my rocking chair while the city slept. An average of $1,600 a month for 15 years. $287,000 in total, not counting the credit card bailouts. 3 of them that added up to another $18,000, not counting car repairs, emergency loans, the kids' school supplies, medical bills when Jason's insurance lapsed. None of it paid back, not even acknowledged. Apparently, just expected. Worse than expected. Resented. I thought of Sarah's words. Words she had said so often I could hear her voice. William, do not let people mistake your kindness for weakness. She said it when contractors tried to underpay me. When neighbors asked for favors, they never returned. When Ashley started calling more often as an adult, but only when she needed something. I finally understood what she meant. Standing up, I walked to the window and leaned my forehead against the cold glass. The city stretched out below. Thousands of lights representing thousands of lives. People who probably also struggled with when to help and when to stop, when sacrifice became enabling, when love became a weapon used against you. I thought I was building a legacy. I told my reflection. Turns out I was building a prison for myself. But this is what Ashley did not understand, what Jason could not see, what maybe even I had not fully realized until tonight. I had not created their dependency to trap them. I had created it because I loved them. Because when your daughter calls crying at 2 in the morning, you help. When your grandkids need winter coats, you buy them. When the heating breaks in January, you fix it. I had done what fathers do, what I thought fathers were supposed to do. They had taken it and twisted it into something ugly, something selfish on my part. When the selfishness was theirs from the beginning, they wanted the house, my equity, my investment, my 15 years, all wrapped up in a nice package to go to another state. And I was the obstacle. That night, sitting alone in my room while my family slept, or pretended to sleep, or hid from me, I decided something. I was tired of being invisible in my own life. I did not know how yet. I did not know what shape my answer would take. But standing there, with the cold glass against my forehead, and Sarah's photo watching from the nightstand, I felt something shift inside me. Something that had been bending for years finally broke cleanly. I stepped away from the window and looked at my room, my sanctuary, the only space that was truly mine. Then, Sarah's photo on the nightstand. I took the silver frame, its familiar weight in my scarred hands. I am sorry, Sarah, I whispered to her frozen smile. I tried. I really tried with her. Setting the photo down carefully, I moved to the bed and sat on the edge. Exhaustion pulled at me now, but it was different than before. Not the exhaustion of defeat, something else. Something that felt almost like relief. I could not change the past. I could not undo Ashley's words or get back my years of sacrifice, but I could control what happened next. The decision was made, even if the plan was not. Outside, the snow kept falling on the city, covering everything in white, a new beginning, a clean slate. Maybe that is what I needed too, not another state. Something else. Something that would show my daughter exactly what life looked like when I finally, truly stepped aside. I did not sleep. When the gray light of dawn finally crept through the window, I was still in the chair, watching the city wake up under its blanket of snow. 7 in the morning came without ceremony. My body ached from the hours in the rocking chair, but my mind felt sharp, focused in a way it had not been in years. Getting up required effort, knees protesting, back stiff, but I managed. The hallway stretched silent and empty before me. No sounds from the other rooms. Ashley and her family were sleeping in or avoiding me. Both suited me fine. The kitchen housed the ghost of yesterday. Dirty dishes still in the sink, the faint smell of turkey that had gone cold. I ignored it all. I went straight to the coffee maker. I poured grounds without measuring, strong coffee, the kind that strips paint and keeps construction workers functional during 14-hour shifts. While it brewed, my eyes landed on the cabinet above the refrigerator, the one where I kept important papers, house documents, written on the folder tab in Sarah's careful handwriting, from when she managed our filing system. My hand reached up, brought it down. The folder felt heavier than it should. I put it on the kitchen table, poured a coffee so strong it looked like crude oil, and sat down. Inside, insurance papers, warranty pamphlets, old utility bills, and under everything the contract. Cream-colored paper, slightly yellowed at the edges. My signature in blue ink. Date the 15th of March 2010. The numbers came into focus. Property address in our neighborhood. Purchase price $320,000. Primary owner William Johnson. Ashley's voice from the kitchen echoed. It is your house, your name. She was right about that. I stared at that signature, and memory pulled me back. 14 years. 14 years since that signature. Since the day I had believed I was helping my daughter build a life. I remembered that day clearly. Spring of 2010. Ashley had shown up at my old house, the smaller one Sarah and I had bought when we got married. A different neighborhood. A different life. I was 50 then, still working full-time in construction, still believing retirement was something distant and manageable. The doorbell had rung just after breakfast. Through the peephole. Ashley. With tears streaming down her face, baby Mia wrapped in her arms against the March chill. Dad. Her voice cracked when I opened the door. Dad. We got rejected. She held out a letter. Bank letterhead. Application denied. In bold at the top. I read it standing in my doorway while she cried onto Mia's blanket. Insufficient credit score. Unfavorable debt-to-income ratio. Unstable work history. And Jason's job. I had asked, already knowing the answer. Ashley's face crumbled even more. He is between jobs right now. The store laid him off 3 months ago. Between jobs. That phrase would become Jason's permanent state. Please, Dad, the kids need a stable home. We found this perfect place in a good neighborhood. Good schools. A safe neighborhood. We just need help with the down payment. Maybe a cosigner. Mia had chosen that moment to grab my finger with her little fist. 6 months old. Pure innocence and trust. I looked at that baby, at my daughter's desperate face, and I felt my resolve crumble. How much do you need? Just sign as a co-signer. I promise we will pay you back as soon as Jason finds something stable. We drove to the bank together that afternoon. The loan officer, a professional woman in her 40s, with a serious haircut. She had reviewed our situation with clinical efficiency. Papers spread out on her desk. Computer screens glowing. Numbers that seemed huge then. Routine now. Mr. Johnson. She had looked at me over her reading glasses. Since you are the primary source of income with established credit, we will put you as the primary owner. Your daughter will be your resident. I had hesitated. Primary owner, not co-owner. The distinction seemed important, but Ashley was bouncing Mia on her knee, making the baby laugh. And I thought, what does it matter? Family takes care of family. Okay, I signed where she pointed. Family takes care of family. Ashley had hugged me tight when we left the bank. Mia squashed between us. Thanks, Daddy. You are the best. I promise we will make you proud. Daddy, that was the last time she called me that. The coffee had gone cold in my hand. I was back in 2024, sitting at the kitchen table, looking at that signature from a different life. The fine print of the contract suddenly seemed bigger, clearer than ever. Primary owner, William Johnson. Property address, in our neighborhood. Co-resident, Ashley Johnson and Jason. Mortgage term, 30 years. Monthly payment, approximately $1,600. I took out my calculator, the old big button one I used for construction estimates. 15 years of payments, 12 months a year, an average monthly payment of $1,600. The numbers added up cold and clear, $287,000. Not counting interest rate fluctuations, not counting the times I had paid extra when they fell behind on utilities, not counting the 3 credit card bailouts, which added another $18,000. Not counting the emergency repairs on Jason's car that, somehow, always happened right before Christmas. I took a fresh sheet of paper from the drawer. I wrote it all down in neat columns, like I used to calculate material costs for building projects. Mortgage payments, $287,000. Credit cards, $18,000. Car repairs, $12,000. School supplies and others, $8,000. Emergency loans, $15,000. Miscellaneous bailouts, $9,000. Total, $349,000 over 15 years. Not a single dollar paid back. Not even acknowledged. Just expected, then resented, and finally used as a weapon against me. Jason's between jobs had become permanent unemployment. Ashley's promises to pay me back had turned into accusations of control. My help had become their prison. Somehow, I wrote on the notepad in capital letters, "The house is mine." Legally, completely. The words stared back at me. Ashley had said it like an accusation when she said, "Your house." But accidentally she had told the truth. It was my house, my name on the deed. My money and every nail and shingle, mine. Footsteps creaked upstairs. Someone was awake. I gathered the papers quickly, slid them back into the folder. I stood up. My legs felt steadier now. Purpose has a way of strengthening old bones. I walked back to my room, gripping the folder like a weapon. I passed the hallway mirror and saw myself. A 65-year-old man with gray hair and tired eyes, but standing straighter than I had in days. Behind me the house stretched out. My house, every inch of it earned. And ahead stretched a course of action I had not fully formed yet, but felt crystallizing with every step. The bedroom door closed behind me with a soft click. I put the folder on my nightstand, next to Sarah's photo. Her smile seemed knowing, almost approving. I had proof now. Legal proof, financial proof, moral proof. If such a thing existed, what came next was just logistics. I needed professional confirmation of what I already suspected. The phone call from my room felt clandestine, which was ridiculous. It was my house, my decision, my right. But I kept my voice down anyway. Mark Rivera's number was on a business card kept in my wallet, slightly worn from years of carrying it. We had worked together 2 decades ago, when his firm handled contract law for the construction company. He had gone independent since then. Built a practice that allowed him to keep Saturday hours for friends in need. Mark Rivera. Mark, it is William Johnson. I need legal advice. I paused, choosing words carefully. Can you see me today? A brief silence. Then, William? Sure, buddy. What is going on? You sound? I will explain in person, please. Come tomorrow at 10. Does Saturday work for you? Perfect. I hung up before he could ask more questions. That gave me Friday to avoid my family and prepare what I would say. How do you explain to your lawyer that your daughter wished for your death and that you plan to take everything back? The words did not exist yet, but I had 24 hours to find them. Friday dragged like a wounded animal. I stayed in my room most of the time. I made excuses that I was not feeling well. When Mia knocked on the door to ask if I wanted lunch, the child's voice sounded worried, which bothered me more than Ashley's continued silence. But I could not explain it, not yet, not to anyone. I spent the afternoon on my laptop researching local property laws, terms I had never needed to know before. Tenancy at will, month-to-month occupancy, primary ownership rights, eviction procedures. The legal language was dry as dust, but underneath it all was a simple truth. The person whose name was on the deed held the power. Period. Friday night I was awake again, not from pain this time, but from planning. Calculating, by dawn on Saturday, I had my strategy mapped out, 7:30 in the morning. I showered for the first time in 2 days. I put on good clothes, the charcoal trousers and the blue button-down shirt I had worn to Sarah's funeral. Respect for Mark's time, and maybe for the gravity of what I was about to do. I grabbed the folder and my wallet. The house was silent when I left. If anyone heard me leave, they did not come out to ask. From the neighborhood to downtown on the train took 30 minutes. I got on at the local station, found a window seat, and watched the city transform as we moved east. Residential blocks gave way to industrial zones, and then to the dense urban core where buildings scraped the sky and the Great Lakes stretched out like a steel mirror. The other passengers ignored me. Standard city train etiquette. A mother with 2 kids, a teenager with headphones, a man in a suit checking documents, all of us wrapped in our separate purposes, rushing underground toward whatever needed handling. The downtown stop dropped me 2 blocks from Mark's building. I came up to street level and was hit by the November wind coming off the lake, sharp enough to make my eyes water. I walked fast, folder tucked under my arm like classified materials. The building was all glass and steel, the kind that screamed success. Marble lobby, security desk with a board guard who waved me toward the elevators after I signed in, 28th floor. My ears popped during the ascent. The elevator opened to brass letters. Rivera and Associates. A small firm but quality. A receptionist who looked fresh out of college smiled professionally. Mr. Johnson, Mark is expecting you. Go right ahead. Second door on the right. Mark's office had the view I expected. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown. The Great Lake visible in the distance, with ice forming at the edges. The man stood up when I entered. 50 years old. Fit thanks to the regular gym. Hair turning a distinguished gray at the temples. We shook hands. His grip was firm, concerned. William, sit down. He pointed to the leather chair across from his desk. Want coffee? You look like you need it. I am past coffee, Mark. I sat down, pushed the folder across the polished wood surface. I need answers. He settled into his chair, pulled the folder closer, opened it. His expression shifted from casual to professional as he scanned the first page. He put on reading glasses. Read in silence, except for the occasional rustle of paper and a low, that could have meant anything. Minutes passed. Outside, a helicopter crossed the skyline. Inside, I watched Mark work, checking details against something on his computer screen, probably the property database. Knowing him, taking notes on a legal pad with handwriting that looked like controlled chaos. Finally, he leaned back, took off his glasses, and rubbed the bridge of his nose. William, his voice carried weight. Legally speaking, this property is entirely yours. Something in my chest loosened. Validation? Explain that to me. Mark tapped the contract. Primary owner. Your name. Your credit. Your financial responsibility. Your daughter is listed as a co-resident, which is essentially a tenant designation. She has no ownership stake. You have been making all the payments for. He checked his notes. 15 years. Can I take it back? He blinked. Take it back? William, you never gave it away. They are essentially tenants living on your property. What are you asking exactly? And if I want them out, Mark whistled softly. Put down his pen. That is heavy. They are family. Family that told me. I stopped, reconsidered. But if I could not tell my lawyer, who could I tell? Family that told me the best gift would be if I were not here anymore. My daughter said that, to my face during family dinner. The office went completely silent. Even the city noise, 28 floors down, seemed to stop. Mark stared at me. The professional mask slipped to show genuine shock. She said that. Word for word, he picked up the pen again. Clicked it twice. A thinking habit I remembered from years ago. Okay. You have every legal right to do this. Local law requires an eviction notice. Standard is 30 days without cause. Can I do it faster? They are month-to-month residents without a formal lease, correct? I nodded. Then technically you can give them as little as 14 days, 2 weeks. But William, he leaned forward. Are you absolutely sure? This is permanent. Family does not recover from something like this. I thought of Ashley's cold eyes, of Jason's passivity, of 15 years of being their safety net, then their scapegoat, and finally the corpse they desired. Surer than I have been of anything in a long time. Mark studied me for a long moment, then nodded once. All right, I will draft the notice. It needs to be formal, in writing. Specify the date they must vacate. Where will you be during all this? Somewhere warm. I had not thought it through completely, but the words felt right. Away from all this cold. Away from everything. An island? A tropical place? Something like that. He turned to his computer, fingers flying over the keyboard. The printer came to life behind him. I am drafting it now. You will have to deliver it personally or have it sent by certified mail. Make sure to document everything. Dates, times, witnesses if possible. I watched the printer spit out pages, legal language that would cut 15 years of obligation. A 2-week notice that would free me from 3 decades of being the family bank. Mark signed at the bottom. Slid it across the desk. I will keep this until you are ready to deliver it. Once you serve this, there is no going back. They will have 14 days from receipt to vacate the premises. I took the envelope, felt its weight. Light as paper, heavy as consequences. Thanks, Mark. Do not thank me yet. He stood up, came around the desk. Put a hand on my shoulder. Just make sure you are ready for what comes next. Family wars get ugly fast. It is already ugly. We shook hands again. His grip conveyed something beyond professional courtesy. Respect, maybe. Solidarity among men who understood that sometimes walking away was the only option left. I walked to his office door, envelope in hand, the future secured in writing. Behind me, Mark called out, William, for what it is worth, I think you are doing the right thing. I turned, looked him in the eye. That makes one of us. But I was lying, standing there, in that 28th floor office, with the city spread out below and legal power in my hand. I felt surer than I had felt since Sarah died. Maybe surer than I had ever felt. The door closed behind me with a soft, final click. The train ride back felt different. I had legal certainty now, and an envelope in my coat pocket that would change everything. By the time I got to my neighborhood, it was almost noon. I had lunch at a small diner near the station. A coffee and a sandwich I barely tasted, trying to plan the next steps. Mark's envelope was in my inside pocket like a concealed weapon, loaded, ready. But one more thing had to be taken care of first. I got home at 2 in the afternoon. The house greeted me with a silence that seemed intentional. No sounds from upstairs, no TV noise. The kitchen counter had a note in Ashley's handwriting. Went to the outlet mall. Back tonight. Perfect. Hours alone. I took off my coat, hung it carefully, walked to my room, put Mark's envelope in my nightstand drawer, under Sarah's photo. Then I went back to the living room, to the desk where my old computer gathered dust. The machine took forever to boot up, 5 years old, humming like it resented being disturbed. While it loaded, I prepared tea, a ritual, calm. I sat in the desk chair and looked around the room. This house, my house, every mortgage payment in bricks and walls that they had taken for granted. My online banking loaded slowly. Password twice before it accepted me. Then, account summary, pension account, $187,349. Enough, more than enough. I picked up my phone, found the bank's customer service number on a statement from the house document folder, dialed. An automated system greeted me. Thank you for calling the bank. For account information, press 1. For credit card services, press 2. I moved through the menu. Waited. Hold music. Generic jazz that was supposed to be soothing but just irritated. The clock on the wall ticked. My tea went cold. Outside, shadows lengthened as the afternoon wore on. 8 minutes later, a voice. Bank, this is Patricia. How can I help you today? Professional. Kind. Completely unaware she was about to facilitate my escape. I need information on my mortgage account. I recited the account number from memory. 15 years of payments. They had burned it into my brain. Of course, sir. Let me look it up. Can you give me your ID number and the answer to your security question? I gave her both. She verified my identity with practiced efficiency, keys clicking on her end. Then, all right, Mr. Johnson. I have your account here. How can I help you? What is my remaining balance? Your current mortgage balance is $43,127.89. The number hung in the air, $43,000. 15 years of payments. And that is what stood between me and total freedom. I want to pay it off. The words came out firm, decisive. Today, in full. A pause. Oh, wonderful. May I ask the reason for the early payoff? A standard script question she probably asked everyone. Personal. Of course. The process is simple. Once we receive the funds, it takes 24 to 48 hours to fully process. You will receive a mortgage discharge document. More typing. How would you like to make the payment? Online transfer from my pension account. She walked me through it. Opened a second browser window. Logged into online banking. Navigated to transfers. Set it up. From pension account to mortgage account. Amount. $43,127. My finger hovered over confirm. This was real money. Almost a quarter of my retirement savings. Once I clicked, there was no going back. But what was I saving for? To keep paying for a family that wanted me dead? To preserve resources for people who saw me as an obstacle instead of a father? I clicked confirm. Authentication screens. Security questions. Final confirmation. Transfer initiated. Funds will be withdrawn immediately and applied to your mortgage account. I have completed the transfer. I told Patricia. Excellent. I can see it processing now. Mr. Johnson, just to confirm, the property at that address in your neighborhood will be completely in your name as sole owner once this processes. That is correct. Just me. Congratulations on paying off your mortgage, sir. It is quite an accomplishment. Thank you. We exchanged pleasantries, and she hung up. I stared at the computer screen. The transfer confirmation showed. Pending 24 to 48 hours to complete. A ping from my email. Opened it. Your mortgage payment of $43,127 has been received and is processing. You will receive final documentation within 2 business days. I hit print. The printer came to life with a whine. Spat out the confirmation. I held it, reading and rereading. The words were simple, but they had a weight physical objects should not possess. Paid in full. Pending final processing. Walking to the filing cabinet felt ceremonial. I opened the house documents folder. Slid the confirmation in with the original contract. Closed the drawer. Went back to the sofa and just sat there. Holding the printed page. Letting it settle. 15 years of payments. $287,000, total with interest. And in one afternoon, one phone call, one button click, I had taken back what was always mine. The house was mine. The control was mine. The power was mine. For the first time in years, maybe decades, I felt like I held the cards instead of being played. The afternoon sun poured through the windows, turning dust motes into floating gold. The house settled around me with creaks and sighs. Familiar sounds I had heard 1,000 times, but never really heard. They were my walls, my floors, my decision. I looked at the printout again. Property address. In my neighborhood. Owner. William Johnson. Mortgage. Paid in full. When Ashley had said your house like an accusation, she had inadvertently gave me the solution. She was right. It was my house. Legally, financially, and completely. She just never understood what that meant. A car door slammed outside. Distant. Probably a neighbor, but it snapped me back to reality. The family would return eventually. I needed to hide the evidence. Act normal. Wait for the right moment. I stood up, folded the printout, put it back in the filing cabinet, locked the drawer and put the key in my pocket. When I turned around, the room looked exactly the same as it had an hour ago. Nothing visible had changed, but everything had changed. I walked to the window, looked out at the neighborhood in the late afternoon light, snow melting slowly on the sidewalks. A kid riding a bike down the street. Normal life continuing while mine transformed completely. Another car door, closer this time. Voices. Ashley's sharp tone audible even through the glass. They were back. I smoothed my face into neutrality, checked my reflection in the window. The man staring back looked calm, composed. They would never guess what I had done while they were buying things they did not need with money they did not have. The front door opened. Footsteps. Shopping bags rustling. Mia's voice asking Jason something about dinner. I remained at the window, just another old man watching the world go by, waiting for night to fall. Saturday night, I stayed in my room while the family watched TV downstairs. Their voices drifted up through the vents. Laughter at some show. Jason's occasional comment. Mia asking for popcorn. Normal, familiar sounds of a family that had ceased to be mine somewhere along the way. I stayed in my chair by the window, tickets to that paradise still hidden in my nightstand drawer, and waited for Sunday. Morning came cold and gray. I woke at 6:30 to silence. They were sleeping in after their shopping expedition. Perfect. I dressed in layers, thermal shirt, sweater, heavy coat. Left a note on the kitchen counter. Went out. W. Nothing else. They no longer deserved explanations. The train ride from the neighborhood to downtown took 40 minutes. I sat near the back, watching the city wake up through dirty windows. Sunday morning commuters. A nurse in scrubs heading to a hospital shift. A young couple dressed for brunch. A man my age with a grocery bag. All of us moving through the city with separate purposes, invisible to each other. The main avenue greeted me with the particular misery of December. Wind off the Great Lake cut through my coat like it had a personal grudge. That upscale area lived up to its name even in winter. Huge stores with elaborate window displays. Christmas lights strung between buildings. Tourists bundled against the cold taking photos with shopping bags. I walked without a destination, hands buried in my pockets, just needing to be somewhere that was not my house. I passed the big department store with its animated holiday windows, past the expensive jewelry store where engagement rings sparkled under spotlights, past families coming out of brunch, kids hyped up on pancakes, parents looking exhausted but content. The crowd made me invisible, which felt good. Nobody looked twice at an old man in a gray coat walking alone on a Sunday morning. I could have been anyone, could have been no one. Then I stopped. The travel agency window was not particularly big, wedged between a luggage store and a coffee shop. Trips to a tropical dream in blue letters above the door, but the display hit me with physical force. A poster. Huge, maybe 6 feet wide. Escape to Paradise. That island paradise. $799. In bold yellow letters at the top. Below, a photo of the main beach at sunset. Turquoise water so clear you could see the sandy bottom. Golden sand stretching to impossible palm trees. The sky painted in oranges and pinks that did not exist in the city's gray December palette. A woman walking toward the waves. Back to the camera. Arms spread wide as if embracing the ocean itself. I stood there, on the main avenue, wind whipping me, staring at that poster like it was showing me a different planet. My reflection appeared in the window glass. Old man, tired eyes, gray hair, superimposed over tropical paradise. The contrast was almost funny. Almost, when was the last time I did something just for me? The thought arrived fully formed. No preamble. I could not remember. Years. Decades. Everything had been about Ashley. About the grandkids. About paying for their lives while mine remained on hold. Even Sarah's death had not freed me. It had just channeled the grief into giving more. More sacrifice. More believing they would eventually appreciate it. The price on the poster glowed. $799. I had $143,000 in my pension account. Simple math. 0.5% of my remaining savings for 2 weeks in paradise. Less than a rounding error. Less than one mortgage payment of the 15 years I had already spent. But something stopped me. Was this running away? Was it cowardice? Then I remembered Sarah's voice. Not from memory, but from a conversation we had had 20 years ago. Sitting on the back porch of our old house, drinking lemonade on a hot summer evening. "William," she had said, "someday when we retire, let's go to that paradise place. Just us. No obligations. No schedules. Just sun and ocean. We never went. There was always something. Ashley needed help. Money was tight. Sarah got sick. Always something. This is not escaping," I said aloud, surprising myself. A woman passing by glanced at me, old man talking to himself, and hurried on. This is what you earn when you finally stop letting people take. The decision crystallized. I pushed the door open. A bell chimed. Inside it was so warm my glasses fogged up. Tropical posters covered every wall. Dreamy waterfalls. Towering volcanoes. Dramatic cliffs. Steel drum music played softly from hidden speakers. The smell hit me. Coconut air freshener. Aggressive, but not unpleasant. Like the room was trying to convince you that you had already left winter behind. Behind a desk cluttered with brochures sat a woman in her 30s. Dark hair pulled back. Professional smile that turned warmer when she saw me. Good morning, looking to escape the cold. You could say that. I approached the desk, unzipping my coat. Tell me about that paradise. Her eyes lit up. Commission radar, probably. But also genuine enthusiasm. Our most popular package. 2 weeks on the main island. Beachfront hotel. Round-trip flights included. Activities. Car rental options. Everything you need. She pulled out laminated flyers, spreading them like cards. When were you thinking? How soon can I leave? She blinked. Fingers paused over the keyboard. Oh, let me check availability. Typing. Eyes scanning the screen. We have seats available. December 3rd. That is Tuesday. In 2 days. 2 days from making the decision to being on a plane. The speed felt reckless and perfect. Perfect. Book it. Wonderful. Her professional mask slipped to show genuine surprise. People usually needed to think. Consult. Spoos. Check. Calendar. Traveling solo? Yes. Just me. All right. Let me pull up our packages for the main island. More typing. More brochures. She walked me through the options. Basic hotel room. The $799 package. Upgraded beachfront room. Add $400. Ocean view suite. Add $800. Flight times. Early morning or afternoon. Car rental. Yes or no. Activity packages. Snorkeling. Helicopter tours. Dinners. Cruises. I chose without hesitation. Upgraded room. Morning flight. No car rental. I would walk or use rideshare. No activity packages. I would figure it out as I went, she calculated. Fingers flying over calculator keys. Upgraded room. Total comes to $1,947, including all taxes and fees. That includes round-trip flights. 14 nights at the beachfront hotel. It is right on the main beach. Incredible views. And airport transfers. I handed her my credit card, not the pension account one, keeping that separate. Smooth. Card disappeared into the machine. She made small talk while it processed. Weather in that paradise. Perfect always. Best restaurants. Endless options. Things to do. Beach. Mostly beach. Really, the beach is the goal. Receipt printer word. She handed me papers. Boarding pass. Hotel confirmation. A shiny folder labeled, Your Paradise Adventure. Tickets for Tuesday morning. Departing 9 a.m. from the airport. Arriving at our destination, 12:30 p.m. local time. Celebrating something special, she asked, stapling documents. I looked at her. Young, optimistic, probably went to that place once herself and never stopped talking about it. How could I explain I had spent 15 years paying someone else's mortgage? That my daughter wished me dead? That I had finally decided to stop being a doormat and start being a person? You could say that. I smiled. First genuine smile in days. A new beginning. Her answering smile was warm, uncomplicated. Well, congratulations, you are going to love it. The ocean is like nothing else. I walked out of the agency holding my papers like they were sacred documents. The bell chimed behind me. Outside, the December wind tried to rip the folder from my hands, but I held tight. 2 weeks. Main beach. Sun and ocean. And no responsibility. No Ashley. No Jason. No guilt. I stood on the main avenue. Christmas lights twinkling overhead, shoppers flowing around me like water around a stone, and felt something I had not felt since before Sarah died. Anticipation. Not dread, not obligation, not weary resignation, true anticipation for something good coming toward me. Tickets were confirmed. December 3rd, check-in at 7 a.m. In 48 hours, I would be on a plane heading west, leaving it all behind. I started walking back toward the train, folder inside my coat. Against the wind, the city chill could not touch me anymore. I was already somewhere warmer. Sunday night, I avoided dinner. Stayed in my room with my tickets spread out on the bed like treasure maps. Monday morning, Ashley left for work at 8. I heard her car start. Listened until the sound faded. Jason's voice came from downstairs, taking the kids to an amusement park. Back by 6. By 4 p.m. I had the house to myself. The kitchen felt different in the late afternoon light. Golden December sun slanting through windows, making everything look warmer than it was. I sat at the table where we had held the family dinner, barely a week ago, where Ashley had handed me my death sentence, wrapped in casual cruelty. Blank paper, blue pen, deep breath. Dear Ashley, I crossed it out. Too soft, too familiar. This was not a letter from a father. It was a legal notice from a landlord. Ashley and Jason, better, formal. Both names, both responsible. By the time you read this, I will be gone. Not gone in the way. I stopped. Too emotional. Too much explanation. They did not deserve my reasoning, just facts. Crumpled the paper, started over. Second attempt was worse. Too angry. Too detailed about every betrayal. Third was too cold. Almost cruel. I was not trying to hurt them, just setting boundaries they should have recognized years ago. Fourth try. I wrote slowly, weighing every word like it was evidence in court. Because it was, in a way. This note would be read, reread, probably shown to lawyers or friends, or posted online in some desperate attempt for sympathy. Every word had to be defensible. When I finished, I read it aloud to the empty kitchen. Ashley and Jason, by the time you read this, I will be gone. Not gone the way you wished at the family dinner, but gone from your life in a different way. I have paid off the mortgage. The house at this address is now entirely in my name. You will find proof attached. You have 14 days from today, December 2nd, 2024, to vacate the property. I will return on December 17th. If you are still here, I will proceed with legal eviction. This is not cruelty. It is consequences. You wanted me out. Now you are out, but on my terms, not yours. I have spent 15 years sacrificing for you, $287,000 in payments, countless hours of worry. And what did I get? A wish for my death. I am going to live my life now, the life I put on pause for you. Do not try to contact me. I will not answer. William Johnson. I read it 3 times. Every word felt right. Cold, maybe, but fair. The hardest part had been getting the tone right. Not angry, not sad. Just done. Finished. Final. I thought about adding something softer. A line about hoping they learned from this. A mention of Mia and Matt. How much I would miss them. But what for? They would not appreciate it. Ashley would turn any softness into a lever for manipulation. This was perfect. Surgical. Clean. I went to the living room filing cabinet. Unlocked it with the key kept on my ring. Found the mortgage discharge document. Paid in full. Stamped in red at the top. Folded it carefully. Went back to the kitchen. Folded the note around the document. Both fit perfectly into a large envelope I pulled from the drawer. Sealed it. Wrote on the outside in black marker. Ashley and Jason. Read immediately. Now, location. Counter. Too easy to miss. Fridge. Might not see it until morning. Needed a central spot. Unavoidable. Where would they encounter it the moment they walked in? My eyes landed on the crystal vase in the center of the table. Wedding gift from Sarah's family. Heavy cut glass that caught the light and threw rainbow prisms across walls. Sarah had loved that vase. She had placed it there 20 years ago, kept it filled with fresh flowers every week until she got too sick. I lifted the vase carefully. Placed the envelope underneath. Lowered the vase back down. Its weight pinned the envelope perfectly. They would have to move Sarah's legacy to see their consequence. The symbolism was not lost on me. I stepped back. Checked from the doorway. Impossible to miss. Corner of the envelope stuck out from under the vase like a flag. Anyone walking into the kitchen would see it immediately. Perfect. My room looked like a staging area. Pulled the old blue suitcase from the closet, scuffed from decades of use. Still serviceable. Opened it on the bed. Packing felt ceremonial. Every item chosen deliberately. Swim trunks. Bought 3 years ago for a pool party I never attended. 3 tropical shirts still in packaging, bought on impulse. Never worn. Too casual for an engineer's life. Shorts. Sandals. SPF 50 sunscreen. Sunglasses. A paperback. A Western book. 800 pages. I had always wanted to read, but never had time. Everything folded with precision, corners aligned. No wasted space. Old construction habit. Pack efficient. Max utility. Min bulk. Suitcase zipped with a satisfying sound. Finality. Set it by the bedroom door. Ready for 5 a.m. departure tomorrow. Next. Phone. Changed voicemail message. I am away. Do not call. I will contact you when I am ready. Practiced it twice before recording. Do not know if I am ready. When? Keeping control. Decision to reconnect would be mine. On my time. Set alarm. 5 am. Checked ride-share app. Airport ride. Scheduled 5:45 a.m. Confirmed. Check tickets. Flight 1204. Airport to our destination. Departs 9 a.m. Gate C24. Check-in opens 7 a.m. 2 hours was plenty of time. All set. Sat on edge of bed, looking at packed suitcase, thinking about envelope waiting in kitchen. Tomorrow morning Ashley would come down for coffee. See crystal vase. See envelope. Lift vase with irritation at something blocking table center. Then read it. Tried to imagine her face. Shock. Disbelief. Rage. Panic when realization hit that this was non-negotiable. Could not be fixed with tears or promises or manipulation. Spent so long fearing her disappointment, her anger, her judgment. Now felt nothing. Not satisfaction. Not revenge. Not even sadness. Just clean, clear sense of boundaries finally drawn. Window showed darkness. Falling. 5:30 p.m. Jason and kids would be home soon. Heard their car in driveway, doors slamming. Kids' voices coming through front door. Mia yelling something about dinner. Jason's reply lost in general noise. Stayed in my room. Did not go down. Let them wonder where I was. If I was even home. Tomorrow morning they would have their answer. Tomorrow morning everything changed. Looked at Sarah's photo on nightstand. Smile captured 3 decades ago. Always young, always knowing. Hope you understand, whispered. Tried. Really tried with her. But trying had limits. Even for a father. Even for family. Turned off lamp. Lay on top of covers fully dressed minus shoes. Tomorrow required early start. But sleep seemed impossible. Too much adrenaline. Too much anticipation. Too much of everything repressed for 15 years finally finding release. House settled into night routine around me. TV sounds from downstairs. Kids arguing over something. Jason's ineffective attempts to mediate normal, familiar sounds of family about to be left behind. In 12 hours I would be gone. In 14 hours they would know. In 16 hours I would be at 35,000 feet over country, heading toward ocean that had waited decades for me to finally arrive. Alarm pierced darkness at 5 a.m. Silenced it immediately. Old construction habit. Wake on first ring to avoid disturbing others. Ironic now, given disturbing them was exactly intention. Dressed in dark. Jeans, t-shirt, jacket. Comfortable clothes for long flight. Hands found every item by memory. House breathed around me. Old wood settling. Furnace clicking on. Particular pre-dawn silence when everyone sleeps. Grabbed suitcase from where it waited by door. Paused in doorway. Listening, down hall. Jason's snoring, thick, rhythmic. Sound of man who never lost sleep over anything important. Beyond that, nothing. Mia and Matt fast asleep on school morning they would not be attending. Ashley silent in whatever dreams she had. Stairs creaked despite care. 3rd step. 7th step. 10th. Knew exactly which ones sang, avoided them anyway. Old habit. Sneaking out for early shifts without waking Sarah. Now sneaking out to freedom. Kitchen threshold. Stopped. Crystal vase caught ambient streetlight, throwing faint prisms on table. Envelope underneath remained undiscovered, waiting like landmine. One more sleep cycle separated Ashley from detonation. Could have left it elsewhere. Could have texted after landing. Could have done it thousand softer ways. But softness had gotten me nowhere for 15 years. Turned away. Walked to front door. Opened carefully. December cold air hit face. Sharp. Clarifying. Real. Closed door behind me with soft click that sounded like punctuation. Final sentence. Period. End of chapter. Rideshare car waited. White sedan. Driver named Ahmed, per app. Mid-30s, maybe. Tired eyes in rearview mirror. Helped with suitcase without comment. Another early airport run. Nothing special about me. Terminal 3. Major airline? Yes. Pulled away from house in that direction. Look back once. House dark except single porch light forgotten to turn off. Black windows, secret sleeping inside. Comfortable lies of family about to become uncomfortable truth, then turn corner and gone. Highway at 5:45 a.m. Tuesday. Strangely empty. Occasional truck hauling goods somewhere. Early shift workers. Other airport runs. Flew toward east, headlights cutting dark. Downtown skyline visible in distance. Towers lit against lightning sky. Indifferent to individual human dramas playing out in shadow. Ahmed did not speak, which I appreciated. Radio played soft jazz. Watch city pass. Industrial zones. Suburbs. Airport hotels. Finally massive airport terminals rising like spaceships about to launch. Terminal 3. Ahmed helped with bags. Accepted tip added via app. Drove off. Stood moment on curb. Watching other travelers flow into terminal. Families. Business people. Particular energy of 6:30 a.m. departures. Inside, chaos disguised as order. Check-in kiosks beeping. Screens directing people through electronic steps. Touch screen. Entered confirmation number. Watched boarding pass print. Seat 17A window. Perfect. Bag drop. Swallowed suitcase on conveyor belt. Tagged for our destination. Watching it disappear felt symbolic. Old life traveling ahead of me. Waiting to be unpacked in paradise. Security line moved fast at that early hour. Shoes off. Belt off. Laptop out. Except no laptop. Just carry on with book. Sunscreen. Wallet. Phone. Walk through metal detector. No beep. No secondary check. Just another traveler among thousands. Gate C-24. Arrived 7:15. Ridiculously early for 9 a.m. flight. Bought overpriced coffee. $6.50 for burnt airport brew. Sat in uncomfortable chair designed to prevent sleep. Watched other passengers gather. Young couple. Honeymoon, probably. Family with 3 kids. Already ramped up at 7 a.m. Business travelers in suits typing on laptops. Solo travelers like me, though most looked like they had purpose. Whereas I felt, what? Liberated, escaped, reborn, all of above. Phone remained silent in pocket. 8 a.m. hit. 8:15, 8:15, 8:15. Started. First buzz. Ashley Mobile on screen. Watched it vibrate. Let it go to voicemail. 8:33. Again. Ignored. 8:34. 8:35. 8:37. Continuous. Relentless. Desperate. Placed phone face down on thigh.